All right, everyone. We're back.
Yeah, we are.
By the way, real quick, I'm jealous that you have that. Go ahead and tell everyone what beer that is. I almost bought that yesterday.
So I am drinking the card this weekend is in Florida. It's not in Fort Lauderdale, but it is very close to Fort Lauderdale. And the last time I was in Fort Lauderdale, was the first time I got to try Cigar City because that was before I was out here in San Diego, which I would argue, and I think a lot of people would argue, is the best, like, widely available craft beer in Florida. Fucking Cigar City is incredible, and I'm drinking on the White Oak High Lie.
Yeah, see, I've had the regular High Lie. So how is that White Oak?
Never tried it, so here I'll give you a preview. Well, it's definitely out of date. Canned in August of last year, that's not how you want to try an IPA.
Wow.
But
oh man,
it's definitely a little oxidized. It's not terrible. It's a little oxidized though. You can tell by the head. Which, to be fair,
I was gonna say it looks like
it's super rocky head.
That's fine though.
To be fair, I spent a whole $2 on this 12-ounce can, so not worried about it. But it was like in the discount bin as I was walking out. I'd like to try it fresh. It's interesting. It's hard to distinguish what is like actually sweet oakiness versus what is sweet oxidation. A little bit, but yeah, still not terrible. Like very drinkable, even though it's a little oxidized.
Awesome, man. I saw some at Jimbo's, so I'm definitely gonna have to pick some up. I mean, I'm glad you told me about the date. I'm gonna check when it was canned, just because you probably want it as fresh as possible. But,
yeah, IPAs.
Anyhow, since we have not a lot to discuss, but quite a bit to discuss, I'll just say I'm drinking Sapporo right now.
Hey,
easy drinkable beer. You know, shouts out to Sapporo, shouts out to Japanese beers.
Sapporo's one of my
Japanese beers when I do.
Yeah, it's one of my go-to sushi beers.
Oh, me as well. That's usually what they have, like a happy hour. You get a big-ass fucking thing of Sapporo and like sake. A side of edamame or something like that. Or sake. Yeah, that's what it is, yeah.
Side edamame.
The sake pairing. Anyways, yeah, no, that'd be way too much. They'd be giving you they're not going to give you food. Fuck no. They're going to get you more drunk so you get more food. Anyways, we'll go ahead and kick it off. I'll have you discuss the co-main and main event of this card because I don't know what the fuck I'll be talking about if I try. It is KSW 48. I'm going to butcher this name. Szymański versus Parnasse.
Super close. I think it's just Szymański versus
Or Szymański?
I think it's Szymański.
What is it?
I think it's... Wait, hold on. Let me double check my notes.
Oh, Szymański and Parnasse?
I think it's Szymański. Let me make sure. It is Szymański, at least as according to how the KSW announcers were calling it last time. Yeah, so I just wanted to briefly mention the co-main and the main of KSW 48 because they're pretty good fights. The rest of the card is very, very Polish. So, I mean, I generally think those fights are fun. That promotion just puts on fun shit, and the spectacle they do is very old school Pride like, which is a lot of fun. So I'm going to be tuning in for sure. Definitely through DAZN, which it's streaming through. Definitely not any other ways. So here's the thing. This card is KSW puts on a lot of big, like what the Scott Cokers of the world would call tentpole events. This is not a tentpole event for KSW by any means, but I think the main event is going to be pretty fun. The co-main is kind of weird. I'm not real confident in these either way. I'm leaning Jerkowski via decision in the co-main just off of pure experience. There's not a ton of footage that I was able to come across for him, which makes me a little nervous, but the dude he's fighting is a southpaw with a super salty record, and he is very low volume and super green on the ground, So I'm just literally taking Jerkowski by decision off of the fact that he has way more experience and has fought much higher level competition. And then the Szymański versus Parnasse fight. The main thing is Parnasse is a dude to keep an eye on. If he gets past Szymański in this, and is able to still land pull counters from the southpaw stance like he tends to do, dude is real big for that division, and he's looked pretty pretty good on the ground, decent in scrambles, really long southpaw, and if he's able to give a dude like Szymański problems, I think it's really going to show a lot for his game. I have Szymański by decisions because I think he's going to win a lot of the grappling exchanges and end up gassing out the longer, taller dude. But man, if any way Parnasse ends up getting past him, that's a dude to keep an eye on for sure because he's doing some interesting things. And he's just purely off build alone, he is a tough out for a lot of guys. And he's looked real good on the ground. Like most of his games built around pull counters, and he's a little Conor McGregor-esque. I hate that phrase because a lot of people overuse it, but it's a lot of pressure and then pull counters and a lot of like outside lead leg kicks and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see how that dude progresses, especially if he's able to show up against a pretty dominant grappler and just tough out in Szymański. So I think the co-main and main will be pretty fun.
Okay, nice, man. Yeah, I mean, what time is that?
I want to say it's pretty early. Here, I'll pull it up. Do you have the odds on that?
Yeah. So the odds I'll just go by according to Sportbet for the co-main event. We have a -119 for Bekovac. I'm gonna say that wrong. Bekovac, something. And Jerkowski is a -109.
That sounds about right to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going by what you're saying. I won't fucking know. And in the main event, I'll go by. I guess I go with 5 dimes.
Ooh, you are
unofficially,
super
of
choppy.
course. By the way,
hold on for a second. You're super choppy. So here, while I talk for a second to let Google Hangouts catch back up. The main card starts at it says the main card. There's like fucking 8 fights on the main card. Starts at 10 a.m. So pretty early. But they are over in Poland, so kind of understandable. So when did you say for the main event?
So for the odds for the main event, we have Parnasse as 510 to a +340 for Szymański.
Really? I mean, I get it because Parnasse has been looking really fucking good. And Szymański's been around for a while, but I don't know. That's interesting. I might throw a couple bucks on that, honestly.
So there you have it for KSW 48. Like you said, is it 10 a.m. Pacific tomorrow or?
Say that again. Sorry, you're clipping a bit.
I said there you have it for KSW 48. You said it's tomorrow at 10 a.m. Is it Pacific time?
I believe it is Pacific time.
For KSW?
Yes. Yeah, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 a.m. Eastern on DAZN.
And then now we will get into, real quickly, Bellator 220. It's it's 2 title fights, right?
Yep.
Did you want to go over what is the main card, which is 5 fights,
yep.
I believe? Okay, so the first one, would that be Gaston Bolanos? Is that the first fight in the main card?
Yep, you got it.
Okay, sorry, let me go ahead. I didn't have these open in tabs because, of course, I'm using my fucking phone.
It's all good.
Which I guess is normal now for this. So you got Nate Superman Stolen, the record of 8 wins, 4 losses. This is at men's featherweight. going up against Gaston Bolanos, the Dream Killer, 4 wins, 1 loss. Nathan Stolen, and I'll be honest, I don't know too many of these names because I'm not a huge Bellator guy. I mean, I'll watch this tomorrow. But he's coming off a 1-loss skid, not really skid. His last fight was a loss to a guy named Andrew Cruz, where he got armbarred in the middle of the first round last September. That's Stolen. And then Bolanos, his opponent, is on a 3-fight winning streak. And his last fight was against Ysidro Gutierrez, where he finished him with punches in the beginning of the second round. Oh, it was on that card as well last September 29th. Just going off these guys' resumes here. Stolen, the American guy, likes, every time he loses, it looks like it's because he's getting submitted. Most of his wins are by TKO or KO. And then his opponent also is TKO. I'd probably have to lean towards Stolen in this one, I guess. Only because this other guy doesn't really look like a submission guy. I feel like that's the American's kryptonite.
Nice. So I am gonna.
I don't really know.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's always interesting to see people like who haven't done tape study pick cards, because you might just because a lot of times when you do too much tape study, you end up focusing too much on little things and not just, hey, this dude is just housing people in this one aspect and the other one is not. But I am actually weird. Gaston Bolanos fights out of Dublin, California.
What the hell?
I didn't even know there was a Dublin, California. Yeah, so I've got Gaston Bolanos mostly because he has looked on fucking fire in a lot of the Bellator, in a lot of his recent fights in Bellator. Solid accuracy, super hard leg kicks. And Stoll is also a brawler with leg kicks, but I think this is going to end up being an all stand-up affair, and in that case, unless Bolanos ends up gassing from just wild exchanges, or unless he starts fading because he eats too many leg kicks, I gotta take Bolanos TKO second just off of his accuracy alone, and I think it's gonna be a banger on the feet. It could go either way, to be honest, but Bolanos has been real fucking accurate with his hands, so I'm leaning that way. What are odds looking like on that? Because they got to be crazy.
And if I'm going by the odds on this, you're probably in the right. Obviously, I didn't do any tape study. Let's see. BetDSI doesn't have any, so I'll just go with 5 dimes again. Bolanos is a minus 580 favorite to a plus 415 over Stolen.
Yeah, I mean, he's been in Bellator for a bit, and he has looked real fucking good, so I'm sure that's what a lot of that line is based off of.
Yeah. And then this next fight we have is a rematch at light heavyweight between British fighter Liam McGeary and American fighter, we know, former UFC, whatever you want to call him, Phil Mr. Wonderful Davis. Trains here, of course, at Alliance San Diego.
That's right.
The first time these guys fought was back in, fall of 2016, where Davis defeated McGeary via unanimous decision. You basically circle jabbed him to death, and I think took him down once or twice, which is, I feel like I'm going to expect that here again. I know McGeary, I think, lately came off, a knockout win. Oh, yeah, he knocked out King Mo. That's right. Okay.
Davis also won the fuck out of the wrestling exchanges in that fight.
But I don't know, though.
He won the fuck out of the wrestling exchanges in that fight. I think he had a 50-43, 50-44, and 50-45 on the judges' scorecards.
Okay, wow. Yeah, so, I mean, if I were to just pick, I'd probably go with Davis again in the rematch. I know he's got a pretty damn good chin. At least I think it's still holding up. So I think this probably goes to decision again. I mean, both guys are really tall, really lanky. They got range. I don't expect anything different in the rematch unless McGeary throws some wild shit and catches Davis. That's the only other outcome I can kind of really see happening.
Yeah, I've got to go the same way. I've got Davis via decision, mostly just off leg kicks and out grappling Liam McGeary, especially with the takedowns and scrambles. I think it's a pretty fucking tough out for Liam. And while he has looked better in some fights, it's not against dudes who are also long, good at fighting at distance, and able to out grapple him, at least in catching takedowns and making him work. So yeah, I have Davis pretty handily in this. If Davis doesn't take this, I would be interested to see what his next fight looks like, because I know he had a tough out in this last one. So,
and the odds on this fight, for those that are curious, I'll go with, according unofficially, of course, to BetDSI. Phil Davis is a minus 417 to a plus 330 for McGeary.
Wow, that is pretty fucking wide. I don't disagree with it, but that's a little wider than I would feel comfortable with. Like plus 300 for Liam McGeary in this fight is not unplayable. Like, especially, like, I bet if you look at Liam McGeary via, well, that's the problem, is how does Liam McGeary win? It's not going to be by sub against Phil Davis, I don't think. And I don't think he's going to be able to knock out Phil Davis. So, actually, I don't hate that line. What's Liam McGeary by decision?
Okay. Yeah, I like that too.
No, I mean, what is it?
I think
what's the line on it?
Happen. So, shit.
Sorry, what's the line on Liam McGeary by decision?
Oh, fuck. My bad, dude.
It's all good.
The hell is this not letting me expand? Oh, well, I would tell you, but it's not letting me. So that's cool. It's not an option for the Bellator card, at least on Best Fight Odds. I can't give you that.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There probably isn't a line on it. That's why I was curious, because I bet the line would be fucking way out of whack, but I'm not surprised there isn't one.
So I'll go ahead and get to the next fight here, which is a lightweight bout between former UFC lightweight champion Benson Henderson, which reminds me, some asshole casual MMA fan, and apparently they were serious on Instagram, MMA Fighting had a thing about Benson Henderson, just like, who is this guy? That's just casual 101.
Well, when you're a Conor fan, it's hard to keep up on guys like Benson Henderson.
Yeah. He's going up against Adam the Bomb Piccolotti. Last time we saw smooth Benson Henderson, 2-fight win streak currently in Bellator. The first time he got his win streak going was April of last year. He choked out Roger Huerta with a guillotine choke in the beginning of the second round. And most recently, last October, a unanimous Saad Awad. His opponent, Adam Piccolotti, is also in a 2-fight win streak. He defeated wrestler Carrington Banks last May, and his most recent fight, which was last September, he defeated James Terry unanimously. How would you describe Henderson's tenure in Bellator, I guess, so far?
It's been super up and down, and he's had some pretty goddamn tough outs. I mean, he started off at the 170 division, which was a tough run for him. I mean, fucking Koreshkov for your debut in Bellator is a tough fucking out.
Yeah.
He had very Benson Henderson-esque fights against Michael Chandler and Patricky Pitbull. And then he had very Benson Henderson-esque fights against Roger Huerta and Saad Awad. Saad Awad fight actually was one of the more impressive ones, which was his last fight back in Bellator 208. He looked pretty good in that fight. He still had a little bit of he had to work through some stuff in that fight still, but overall he looked much more kind of at home and felt like he was in that fight a lot more. Piccolotti, oh boy. The main problem I have with taking Piccolotti, I'm not going to say picking Piccolotti. The main trouble I have with taking Piccolotti in this fight is I just have trouble seeing him winning grappling exchanges, especially scrambles against Benson Henderson, because Benson's so slick in that stuff. And I think that and the leg kicks could be a pretty big problem over time for Piccolotti. So I'm leaning Benson via decision, but I wouldn't be crazy surprised if Piccolotti just went out there and took rounds off of Benson and won a close decision. Like, I think that's very well within reason. I just have trouble seeing him winning enough grappling exchanges to make it happen.
Yeah, I kind of want to give a reason why I think Henderson will win, but you kind of just explained it for me, so I'm just going to agree. But I acknowledge, like you just said, I can very much see Piccolotti, I don't want to say stealing this fight, because, I mean, well, I guess we should look at the odds first to see if it'd be stealing. Okay, well, according to 5 Dimes, Henderson is a minus 435 to a plus 325 of Piccolotti.
Yeah.
So take that as you will.
It's still too wide, but I get it. Bellator odds are kind of weird just because a lot of it's because the public knows so little about dudes who aren't former UFC fighters that a lot of those lines get kind of skewed. But I still I don't think the line is right. I think probably like minus 3 is like the edge of where I would put Benson Henderson on this, but
yeah, I mean, you kind of already said it. Bellator's odds are a little kind of
well, it's the
I just hope
the way
it's a
the
good
public
fight.
bets it.
It's not really helpful. I hope it's competitive. That's true. Anyways, I should probably get going a little bit quicker than I am now with my pace. Going to the co-main event of Bellator 220, which is defending women's flyweight champion Ilima McFarland, the Eliminator, from Hawaii, going up against another American fighter, Vida Ortega. I probably said it wrong.
No, you got it.
So let's see. So Ilima McFarland, last time we saw her, she submitted Letourneau in near the middle of the 3rd round with the triangle choke. She had a few. Insane. I always forget that. She's 9-0. She's been a force so far in Bellator. I don't really see her being slowed down. However, I don't know too much about Vida Ortega, except this looks like it's her 3rd Bellator fight. 4th Bellator fight, excuse me. No, I'm fucking way off. It's her 7th fight.
To be fair to you, it's her 6th Bellator fight.
Ortega. Maybe you can
I was going to say, to be fair to you, it's her 6th Bellator fight, but her 2nd pro fight ever was in Bellator, so it's understandable why you can get thrown off on that. For this fight, I mean, I'm obvious. First off, we're in San Diego. Ilima McFarland is a San Diego State grad.
Fellow Aztec.
Yeah, and she trains at Team Hurricane Awesome with Liz Carmouche, and she trains at 10th Planet.
Yeah.
At the Freak Show up in Oceanside. So you already know we're gonna pick Ilima McFarland in this just out of goddamn loyalty to this shithead city. But also I think she probably takes Vida Ortega out via sub. I would say 2nd. Vida Ortega has fought no one near the level of Ilima McFarland, and she does have the fight against Anastasia Yakova and Emily Ducote and Denise Kielholtz, all of which are great, none of which are fantastic high-level grapplers. And I think that's going to be pretty apparent. I think that she's tough enough to probably gut her way through the 1st round, especially since I think Ilima McFarland's going to stay on the outside and try to work a little bit more of her kicking game, which she hinted at on Phone Booth Fighting podcast, and she also showed a little bit more against Valerie Letourneau. However, I think if at any point Vida lands anything significant, or if Ilima just decides, I can easily win grappling exchanges, I think as soon as this hits the mats, Ilima just dominates and gets a sub. Probably I would lean RNC, but if they end up in a scramble, 100% Ilima's kind of person who will like roll through to guard to throw up something wild. I mean, Ilima's hitting fucking dead orchards and shit. So I 100% believe that she's going to go for something fun in this fight, and I would not be surprised to see her pull off something pretty wild.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I'm gonna go submission as well. I can only mention first or second round because I don't know too much about Ortega. I know it's disrespectful to her, but sorry, I'm on the McFarlane hype train. The odds on this are pretty. I don't want to say they're all over the place. I'll just go with the one I think that they're probably trying to say. So unofficially, BetDSI has McFarlane at a minus 714 to a plus 525.
Yeah, that's probably one of the best lines I've heard so far.
Yeah, you want to hear the one that was opposite of that, or well,
who the fuck is? Wait, does somebody have fucking Ortega?
No, what I'm saying I don't mean to say opposite. It's way worse. It's Five Dimes has a minus 835 to a plus 515.
Oh, okay, yeah, no that sounds too wide, but also not really mad at that line either. Like, yes, I think both of those they're more right than Ortega being anywhere near a plus 200 underdog. So it's a tough out. That's a tough out.
And this brings us to the main event of the evening, and one that I think is going to end really quickly, or it should.
Really?
It's the start of the welterweight Grand Prix between Rory MacDonald, the defending champion, going up against, I'm probably juiced to the gills, but who knows, Jon Fitch, at least according to Frost.
All right, for Ross, yeah, I was going to say.
Rory MacDonald, last time we saw him, he tried to get middleweight gold against Gegard Mousasi, but got bullied like a little brother pretty easily. I mean, it was just a big size discrepancy, really, from what I saw. He tried, but yeah. Gegard hits really fucking hard. Probably didn't do it. And he was just in mount the whole time and just ground and pounding him out and just kind of had his way with him. Other than that, he hasn't lost at welterweight in Bellator. He's going up against Jon Fitch. You may remember him from his days in the UFC or PFL, whatever you remember him from. Last time we saw him was a year ago in May, where he unanimously defeated Paul Daly because he just held him on the ground. Paul Daly was mad and could do nothing about it. I think a lot of this fight possibly will go to the ground if Fitch can take it there. But as far as on the feet, I think MacDonald's going to make Fitch look pretty stupid, and Fitch is just going to panic and just keep shooting. And I just see MacDonald stuffing a lot of this thing and just, I think, knocking him the fuck out at some point, honestly. I think he catches him with some crazy shit. And if he doesn't knock him out, I think it's just a brutal 5-round beatdown. Just like he's just in top control.
What round are you leaning on that?
But I'm giving enough credit to Jon Fitch. I don't know. I'm thinking like round 2.
Yeah.
Like ground and pound TKO.
Yeah, I've been going back and forth on whether or not I think Rory's going to finish this fight or not. I think I'm going to take Rory by decision.
That's probably a good bet.
I feel like if Rory is stuffing that many takedowns, though, he should probably end up finishing Fitch. The problem I have is I am very worried that Rory MacDonald is going to go for an Imanari roll in this fight. Because fucking ferocious hobby fighters love Imanari rolls, especially Rory. And Ryan Hall just hit one on BJ Penn not that long ago. And I'm very worried that he's going to do that, which would be the worst idea ever. So, yeah, I've got Rory by decision, but I'm a little nervous. Normally, Frost and them are very good at game planning, so I would imagine they to not at all, no matter what, for any reason, end up on bottom against Jon Fitch. But they fucking love Imanari rolls.
Yeah, they do. Wouldn't be surprised if it happens.
I would be upset if it happens. I'm not surprised.
Something flashy. Yeah, good with my guns. TKO round 2. The odds on here are interesting. I'll go with 5 dimes, minus 375 in favor of MacDonald to a plus 320 of Jon Fitch.
That is like just barely wide, but like I'd think like 285, but yeah, I would still lean Rory fairly heavy. It's a tough out for Jon Fitch. Like Jon Fitch has to out wrestle Rory MacDonald for 5 rounds to win this fight, or crush him in the nose with a headbutt or something. Shouts to I think it was MMA Vivisection that brought that up. Cool.
Yeah, it's not really a bad point. So now we'll get into
let's go ahead and burn through this card.
UFC on ESPN.
A lot of these we can get right through.
Yeah, I'm not going to say too much about a lot of these. UFC on ESPN plus 8. Holy shit. Jacare versus Hermanson. It says it's in Fort Lauderdale, aka, like you said, a city a lot of people don't like. It just sucks.
Well, I've been there. It's a fucking home. To be fair, there was one very good, very hipster coffee shop right near the train tracks in Fort Lauderdale that I went to. Everything else I had in Fort Lauderdale was garbage. I was there for a whole 2 days, and I was very hungover on the second day, so take that into account. But,
oh, there's always a diamond in the rough somewhere, maybe.
Yeah, the coffee shop was dope as hell, but everything else in that area was, oh boy. To be fair, I was mostly talking to real estate agents, so let that factor into my feelings about it.
So the first fight we have on the evening, at least according to, and how did this get fucked up? No, it didn't. A welterweight bout, Court McGee and Diego Lima. Last time we saw Court McGee in October, we had a decision victory over Alex Garcia. Diego Lima, last time we saw him, had a knockout victory via punches over Chad Lepre last December.
Oh,
I really don't know how the
fuck
this
you are
is
super
go.
choppy
Towards Court
Chris.
McGee,
You there, Chris?
Because I felt like Diego Lima kind of.
There we go. Now Skype caught up, right? Let's kill this broadcast and start a new one because you are so fucking choppy right now. Yeah. Wait for the response. Waiting for it. Okay. So we're going to kill this one, and then I'm going to start a new one here in a second. Hopefully, Chris's internet will reset by then. If not, he is going to IP config some shit on his computer. So we'll be right back with the UFC breakdown.